Hi, I'm Jalen Rose, and welcome to the Renaissance Man podcast, proudly presented by the New York Post, a show where we cover trends in fashion, entertainment, current events, and everything in between. My next guest, my brother from another mother, is an icon. He's a part of the iconic group, the Wu-Tang Clan. He's had so many classic features, and his debut solo album, Only Built for Cuban Links, is definitely one of the most timeless rap albums of all time. His new memoir, Staircase to Stage, Minimum Wage, still to get an article in Rap Page. The story of Raekwon and the Wu-Tang Clan is out right now. It is my honor to welcome to the show Raekwon The Chef.
What up, homie? Peace.
I appreciate you taking the time joining me. You're a legend in the game. It's an honor to have you on the show. But I have to
Thank
tell
you.
the story from your voice like I don't know it. So I have to ask you, what was it like for you growing up in Staten Island? And what was your introduction to hip hop?
Growing up in Staten Island, it was tough, man. It was a serious place to be raised from and live. It's you know how it goes. We come from the hood. Beautiful
Mhm.
place, just a rough atmosphere. Um, just growing up there was like a normal kid just trying to make something out of himself, trying to figure out what lane fits me. Um, you know, originally I'm from Brooklyn and I moved to Staten Island around 8 or 9 years old.
Mhm.
And my moms were told it was a nice place, and I say it was nice when we got there, but then maybe 2 or 3 years later, it just changed, completely changed. Infested, rats, roaches running around, just the slums. But we made the best of it. We made the best of it, and it basically taught me so much. It taught me how to be a man. The experiences, the people I met, everything that just come with living in the ghetto. But one thing that it taught me was to keep dreaming. I always
Mhm.
been a dreamer. So, but Staten Island is my hometown, man. I love it. I love it. Wow. I'm
And
sorry.
being,
What was the next question again?
what was your introduction to hip hop?
Oh, my introduction to hip hop was around, I say 83.
Mm.
83, 84 is like around the time Run DMC was really making their presence be felt. You know, um, Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, Ice
Mm.
T, Ice Cube. I remember these guys was just smashing it down back then. And as a kid, we loved them. We loved the music. They was talking about things that inspired us. Just listening to Houdini, you know,
Mm.
um,
Mm.
Fat Boys, Heavy D,
Mhm.
KRS-One. I could sit here and name 1,000 for you, but these guys were creating something that all of us loved. And it got to the point where, you start bringing your radio to school. LL Cool J, telling us, yo, my radio, I can't live without my radio. Next thing you know, we can't live without a radio. We bringing it to
Bah!
school. We on the buses with it. So yeah, I would definitely say the early '80s was the time when I really started grasping into hip hop even more. And it was young
And at
too. It
that
was
point, and
it
at
was
that
still
point, did you
growing.
feel like this was gonna be my escape? Because I remember my first introduction was Rapper's Delight being from Detroit, but then the message came out and it was like broken glass
I forgot
everywhere. I was like, yo, this is what
that.
I can relate to this. You know what I'm saying? Rats in
There
the
you
front
go.
room.
There you go.
Back.
There you go.
So, like, when did you start to realize that rap music, hip hop culture can be your escape?
You know what? I was too young to realize it then. It was just something that we was loving and we was having fun listening to. Back then people they didn't think it would last as long as it did. But for us,
Mhm,
it was more of a lifestyle thing. And it just seemed like they was talking to a certain audience, because
mhm,
a lot of those artists were coming from places that we come from. So
mhm,
it was easy for us to relate to them because we're like, yo, hey, he's from the Bronx or he's from here.
mhm,
All these places were like where we were at. So it was kind of like a code of the streets music where it was
mhm,
like, yo, it's here, this is what we love to listen to. We would be in the neighborhood, see the older cats, they be coming down the streets with their blazers on and singing the Run DMC joints. And next thing you know, it went from little skinny herringbone chains to rope chains. And, I remember
mhm.
even one time cats was wearing the Chinese letter gold plates. Remember those? Where they had the
No doubt.
Chinese,
And the gold
put
tooth in the front.
yeah, with the gold joint in the front and all of that. And so I just felt like it was something that was designed for people that was in these poor communities that was talented and basically building their own criteria of music for us to enjoy. And then it just started getting bigger and bigger and everybody started loving it. But for us, it was a lifestyle. It was music that had a lot to do with our lifestyle. Same way how you just sat here and sung, Melly Mel's part, broken glass everywhere. Like we
Mhm.
was really broken glass everywhere.
Right.
So, it was just something that we were able to relate to and put into our universe and say, yo, they speak for us. This right here speaks to us.
And you told me a lot of
Mhm.
the artists that you were rocking. I was listening to a lot of the same artists. But what
Mhm.
gear did you feel like was fresh then? Like in the early 80s, what was fresh to you then?
I mean, all of it, all of that, man. I mean, I can't, if I sit here and tell you one song, I'll be fronting. So I can't even
Or
say it
the
was just
gear
one
too.
song, but
What gear?
I,
What gear was the freshest? Like the dot,
oh, the
Run
gear,
DMC had
oh,
the
Adidas.
Dobbs caps, the no shoestrings in them. Like what was fresh to you?
Oh, definitely. What was fresh to me was to have a fresh pair of Adidas on, Pumas. We was wearing the Ewings back then.
Mhm,
Um, you know, Shell toes was definitely the one that was the most important to me back then. Rocking a fresh,
mhm,
crisp pair of shell toes. I remember back then, Adidas was like $30 back then. So,
mhm.
my mom's would buy me one pair, and I probably wouldn't be able to get another pair for about like 4 or 5 months later. So I had to do
Well,
everything to keep those
eh,
crispy. Shoe
no
polish,
question.
how you put the shoe polish,
All of that
you put the shoe polish
toothbrush,
on them, boom, 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 sit them on the
washing machine.
radiator. Exactly. Those were glory days though. But it made me appreciate gear.
Mhm,
People don't know back then we was youngsters that treasured our clothing, that took care of it, whatever we had, because we knew our mothers didn't have money like that. So we made
correct.
sure that we kept our stuff up to par. You know what I mean? I remember, at one point I used to just love to get up and just iron my clothes. And we was those
Chris,
kind of kids, at a young age. We wasn't, we'd get up and iron a shirt out and go to the cleaners. You ain't thinking a
iron the
12-year-old kid would
shoestrings.
iron the shoestrings. I remember I used to roll them up and put them in, put soap in my hand with the shoestrings and go like this.
No doubt.
Like, you know what I mean? Wring them out under the sink, wring them out under water. They be crispy. Then iron them out, like you said. But definitely though, we definitely used to slam it like that because older cats in our neighborhood, that's how they was getting fresh. Like it was always
Mhm,
about either you had a leather bomber or a sheepskin, you had Adidas on
mhm,
with fat laces. So to
mhm.
me, all of that was hip hop curated. It was something that we was doing on our own, and the older cats were just schooling us. And next thing you know, you see the whole community dressing like this. Everybody,
Correct,
So we
correct.
followed pretty much thing that the music was speaking on.
Correct. It
Word.
became a lifestyle, almost a soundtrack. And I read somewhere that you met Method Man and Inspector Deck in high school. So what drew you to them? And did you guys immediately know that y'all would probably work together in some creative capacity?
Well, me and Inspector Deck, we from the neighborhood, and I remember when Meth had first moved into the neighborhood because Meth is originally from Long Island. So, of course, we used to hang out in Meth's building because it was a dude up in his building that was a DJ. So this guy used to be playing music out his window. You know how you walking
Mhm.
down the block and you're like, yo, who blasting that music? And you look up at the window and you see a certain dude up there like getting busy in his window and all that. So next thing you know, I met Meth up in his house and we started kicking it and I took Meth down the block, just to have him start hanging out with us. And we used to have him in the staircase with us a lot, because like I tell people all
Staircase
the
to
time, the
stage.
staircase was the arena, baby. Like you love hip hop and you want to get that vibe, you meet us in the staircase. So Mev would come and he would just be a fly on the wall and just watch us pounding out lyrics, freestyling, just having fun, drinking 40s,
Mhm,
smoking a little bit
mhm,
of Chiba,
mhm.
just
No doubt.
having fun and doing what normal kids do. Get in trouble, you know,
Mhm.
just loving listening to music, reciting lyrics. We was into that, and next thing you know, we got super cool. And then Mev started to go to the same school that we went to, and I remember Mev was in an English class with me. He was in an English class, and me and him used to sit in the back, and we never did no work. We used to just be back there writing lyrics, and he would always give me his book and be like, "Yo, check it out. What you think?" So it was like I was like his teacher. So I look at, I be like, yeah, I like that. That's cool. I say, but I need you to sing it later for me. You know what I mean? So it was a
Right.
lot of love there for him, and just hanging out, man. Me, him, Deck, you God, the crew. We was always around each other.
And I know I'm going to show my hip hop age with this, but I remember
Man, we
when
showing our hip hop moves, brother, because we look good. We look
no
good. We can
question.
show out.
I remember, oh, we love you, Raheem. Prince Raheem.
Woo!
Before,
Rakim. Yeah, his
yeah,
name was
Raheem,
Rakim.
right?
Yeah, they called.
I remember,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
we love you, Raheem. And he was killing them. And then all of a sudden, you guys 36 chambers. So give us the origin of how 9 of the greatest lyricists in the history of rap music decided that they wanted to be in the same group at the same time to change the culture forever.
That's an interesting one. I talk about this real good in the book too, but I'm gonna give you a quick synopsis. Like
Mm,
you said earlier, just growing up in the community, RZA was definitely living in the neighborhood as well. He had family all through there, so you know, you just know who's doing what they're doing when it comes to writing lyrics and all that. Because our neighborhood, they used to have parties like every weekend, like inside the elevators. I mean, not elevators, sorry, inside the laundry rooms. They would take all the machines out of the laundry and turn it into a party. So we would all try to get in and go. Some of us didn't get in. Some of us was able to work our way in, finesse it, or whatever.
mm,
But RZA pretty much he knew about a lot of us in the neighborhood writing rhymes. So, coming home from school, we would see him. RZA always would try to pull out his rap book and start rhyming. So, he
mhm,
had that relationship with us all through the neighborhood. So we knew he wanted it bad because his cousin, the Jizza, and his other cousin, rest in peace, old dirty bastard,
mhm,
they was some talented cats at a young age. And I myself, I liked them. You know what I mean? I started to hang out with them and just be a fly on the wall and watch them do their thing, even though I know we was doing our thing a little bit, but they just seemed like they was ready. So,
mhm,
make a long story short, started hanging out with them, and now this is me seeing the potential they got and being a biggest fan and saying to myself, wow, yo, y'all really got it. I just keep saying
mhm,
this to myself. Y'all really got it. But back then to get a record deal was the hardest thing in the world. So once the
mhm.
Jizza got a record deal and the RZA got a record deal, right then and there, I pretty much knew that it was some light at the end of the tunnel one day that
Mm-hmm.
we may be able to get that position. Not really knowing that it's going to happen, but it happened. And I just recall RZA not being happy about his success while making his situation happen. And I was the guy
Mm-hmm.
that he went to cheer him up and be like, "Don't sweat it. You ill. Trust me. You just got to come in with another game plan that makes sense." And that's what
Mm-hmm.
he did. So, when he got to that point where he felt like he wanted to do something different, he called me and he's like, "Yo, I want to start this group thing. I want to come in
Mm-hmm.
with y'all." So I'm like, "Yeah, now you talking." I'm like, now you going somewhere. Now you going somewhere with it. And next thing you know, before you know it, I remember him bringing everybody, into one studio and saying, "Yo, I want to make a record." And we was just in it really more for the representation. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really trying to think that it would take off fully. But in the back of
Mm-hmm.
my mind, I'm like, this is the beginning of something dope. I just don't know where
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna go yet, but I seen enough to see what RZA seen and Old Dirty Bastards energy and Jizz's creativeness on that
Mm-hmm.
mic. I'm like, yo, it's too much magic here. So I became the cheerleader of the movement. Giving you
Mm-hmm.
facts, bro. I became the
Wow.
cheerleader. Yo, boom, boom, boom. He's dope. He's dope. I got a little bit of something. Riz always told me, you don't got a little bit of something. You got a lot. I'm like, for real? You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like, you don't really know. So
wow.
we throwing batteries in each other to believe that we could do something to represent our city. Because Staten Island
Mhm.
wasn't being heard of in the five boroughs. So we had a little gripe about that. And I remember him just saying, "Yo, we all gonna meet here and we're gonna do our first cut." So I was
Mm,
excited. I'm getting on the phone calling everybody. Yo, Meth,
mm,
yo, blah, blah, blah. Yo, we going to meet over there. This is the record. We gonna go for it. And the next thing you know, it was history. It was like the record came out dope, and now it's about going to the radio station and seeing if they're going to play it. So,
mm,
Riz is a shy guy. So at the end of the day for him, he always needed to feel good about what he was doing so it would give him the momentum to want to do it. And
right.
all I can remember was when the record took off, everybody was excited. And RZA was like, "Nah, we gotta do more now. We gotta do more." And we didn't really know it was gonna pop off until it really popped off, you know.
So I saw, as a hip hop fan, NWA unfortunately break up, but yet individually they all had amazing success. You guys were
Word.
a super group that eventually broke off and proved y'all dopeness individually. And your project only built for Cuban links, just so you know, I just got a car, a Suburban. I had real TVs and I had just got to the league. They called it the Ice Box.
Right, right.
I'm telling you, I remember just the album was so raw, you could hear sniffing in the studio. Like y'all just did like one. Talk to me
Right.
about that. Like that's how deep I was into it. So for you and for Ghost, for y'all to do that project, and now it's 2022 almost, and you still like historic lyricist. Take me back to that period of time when y'all created that classic project.
Oh man, back then it was like once we proved to the world that we could make a record collectively, because it was always about us bum rushing the industry, and then eventually everybody would do their own thing. So when we made 36 Chambers and it was successful, and then you started to see some of the solo cats come when it was my time. 95 was like one of those great years, man. And the energy was there. And me and Ghost and the rest of the clan, we was just at our best when it came to writing rhymes. So when it was
Mm-hmm.
my time to come up with my album, we was still kind of living that hustler lifestyle. So
Mm-hmm.
I knew that, you know what? I wanted to make a serious album that a cat like Rakim or KRS-One or LL or Kane would be like, yo, who's these guys right here? You know, so it was just one of those things where we was just paying attention to what was going on because it seemed like all the hustlers that was hustling back then was transitioning. They was trying to get out of that game and figure out something else to do. And music was the vessel. Music was the way to go. So for me, you know, we wanted everything that the hustler and the community had. If he had a Benz and he had a big Cuban chain on or big ropes
Mhm.
on and all that, that's the stuff that me and Ghost felt like we wanted to initiate in the music. So that's one of the
Mhm.
things why we called the album Only Built for Cuban Links, because we was talking about only built for those guys that dress like that, that got
Mhm.
money, that hustle, that they got everything. Suede jackets, sheepdogs with the hats and the mittens,
Mhm.
Wallies on, leather pants,
Mhm.
you know, good jewelry on, good haircuts, half moons.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because you know, we grew up in those neighborhoods where, you know, it was a lot of hustlers out there. So automatically, for me, I know that Wu-Tang Clan, the whole clan collectively, wasn't really on that lifestyle like that. You
Mhm.
know, so me and Ghost was the ones that really clicked to that because when we got money, that's the first thing that we went and did. We went and bought jewelry and cars, and you know, we ain't think about saving our money yet. We think about, yo, you gotta see my money on me.
Right. That's like the NBA. You
You
spend your
got
first contract 100% of the time.
Yeah, you know, you blow it because at the end of the day, you feel like, yo, I worked this hard to get here. I got to show y'all that I made it. So making Cuban Links was definitely inspired by a lot of strong hustlers in the community. You know, some that really believed in us. They wouldn't want us to sell drugs. Like, nah, I'm not doing that with you. You got another talent that I see in you. And that, believe it or not, that motivated us. So we never forgot where we came from when it came to knowing that people that was doing other shit cared about us doing positive shit. They felt like, yo, you guys had it. So making that album, we just was like, yo, Mike Tyson was the new champ around that time. So you know
Mhm.
all that energy is in our ears right now. All that, the music, the shape of the new Benzes is coming out. You know, the Lex just went bubble on it. You know, we want everything. The jury, yo, go for like, yo, I want the bird. I want the bird.
The
I'm like,
Iron
yeah, you need to
Eagle.
put it on your arm. Yeah, he's like, yo, I want the bird on my arm. It gotta be this high and all that. You know what I mean? Yo, we was just taking it there, and that helped stimulate those rhymes to be what it was because we was always thinking big like that,
And that
but
for
we
me
wanted
was
to
at
do
the height of
something.
not only the East Coast lyricism, but you guys also were entrepreneurs in a way. Like Naughty was having their gear and doing their own thing, kind of
Yep,
like Master P and Jay Prince and them. So it started to become more of like a lifestyle, a movement, right?
there we
And so
go.
for you to be front and center with that, along with your clan, tell me like mid 90s, because I remember like the intro and on the album it's like, yo, niggas bit off Nas. And then it had the babies on the album cover. And we like, oh man, is he talking about Big? Is they beefing with Bad Boy? But like y'all were the top groups in the game. The East Coast ran the game. So
Yeah.
let me give us some insight about that right there.
Well, you know what I mean. Like I said, you know, we love Big, number one. Rest in peace to
No
Big.
question.
You
Rest in
know, he's
peace.
definitely one of the
Absolutely.
greats. Back then, you know, the sport was so competitive. You know, you had a lot of guys from New York doing a thing in different boroughs, so it was always competitive. And we had a relationship with Nas. You know, we pretty much knew Nas from, you know, when he was down with with searching them and, you know,
Mhm.
live from the barbecue and all that type of stuff. And you know, when we seen that Big had did the cover, the baby cover, it's like protecting your friend. It's like, yo, why you do what my man just did? You know what I mean? So it wasn't really a beat. It was just like, yo, why you do that when you know he already did that? Back then it was always about being authentic. And when Ghost went in there and said what he said on the mic, it wasn't like we planning to disrespect Bad Boy, because don't forget, we had made hits with Bad Boy. You know, the
Correct.
Jodeci record, the SWV record, Mary's All I Need. So we never really had an issue, but it was just something that Ghost said at the time that to us it made a little bit of sense, but we knew that it would spark a little bit of something, you know. So we just played it by ear and said, well, you know, you can't really be mad at us saying how important authenticity is, but at the same time, we love Big. We respected him, so we didn't want it to be nothing outside of that, which it never was. You know, we got
Mhm.
opportunity to see Big later on down the line. Like I talk about all this in the book. But the bottom
Love.
line is that we were 25-year-old wild cats that love hip hop and love to be original. We
Mm-hmm.
wanted, we wanted, we wanted to protect our friends. We wanted to stand for something that we know this is how we was raised. We was raised this
Mm-hmm.
way. We watch battles in the neighborhood block parties, guys challenge each other. So we grew up with that mentality. So when it came
Mm-hmm.
down to the skit, it was almost like you right. But at the end of the day, we didn't really think about Nas and Big relationship. Cause I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure Big called Nas like, yo, where this coming from? And Nas is
Right.
like, what you talking about? I don't even know what you're
Right.
talking about. Like,
Right.
oh, snap. So, you know, like I said, the good thing is that we were able to have a conversation with Big, you know, not right away, but it might have been a couple of months later. And, you know, we got a chance to really express our way to Big and tell him, yo, listen, you our guy. We love you. Don't take it
Dope.
that way. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we brothers. We all doing our thing. We getting money. We come from the poor part. We
Mm-hmm.
love you, bro. And Big looked at us like, man, come on, man. We together,
That's
man. You know
dope.
what I mean?
Dope.
So, you
That's
know,
dope.
it's like when you guys get on the court, you know what I mean? You get on the court,
Yep.
you don't see what you see. You come to win. And that was
Gotta
our
eat.
thing. We was coming to win. We was coming to win, speak the truth, and just speak our hearts. And you know, Ghost back then, Ghost had like one foot still out in the street, hanging out with the
Mm-hmm.
thugs all night. You know what I mean? And
Right.
then one side of him wanting to be a rapper, and the same for me. So
Right.
you know how it goes, man. Young boys, man, you know, we vulnerable. So,
Right.
but we
For
were
sure.
able to really fix that situation with us and BIG. And we love BIG. He's one of the best in the game. To this day,
Mm-hmm.
his voice, his demeanor, his flow. I never got a chance to meet Big back then neither. Just to give you a rep
No. No.
before all this popped off, check it. Before all this popped off, the only time we got a chance to see Big up close and personal was when he got killed the next day out in LA. So we
Wow.
actually got see I talk about all this in the book. We actually got a chance to apologize and get on the same page with him and talk about working together the day before he
Wow.
got killed. Broke my heart.
Really?
When I tell you it broke both of our hearts, me and Ghost's heart, it was like, how? Why? Like, is where hip hop
Wow.
is going? Like, you know, so you know, that's something we'll never
Wow.
forget. Um, you know, like I
Wow.
said, man, we got a lot of respect for Big and just him
Yes.
representing Brooklyn to the fullest, man. But I wish he was still here getting it
Wow.
in with us, though, you know.
No
Sometimes
doubt.
I
And I
think
know
about it.
you got
I say to myself sometimes if he was still here, Big would be tearing shit up right now. He'd be going hard body again and again and
he
again,
would.
you know?
He would. Because he didn't even
Word.
get a chance to rock his double album, The Life After Death. The
Yeah.
Hypnotized video barely completed. He didn't even get a chance to flex that.
Oh my God. When that came out, it was like we was already hearing rumors like, yo, dudes is millionaires already. Like, you know, so that was inspiration for us. Like, oh man. And I remember me telling RZA, yo, you see these bad boy dudes? They going off. We gotta go. We gotta go now, RZA. He like, yo, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like, yo, listen, nah, fuck all of that. I'm like, yo, we have to get it going because New York City is at his best. Come on, you got Nas, you got Mobb Deep, you got
Yeah.
Capone and Noriega, you got Fat
Mhm.
Joe, you got Busta in them. It's
Mhm.
like New York City was on fire, and everybody was just paying attention to who's hot, who's popping. So, for us, it
Absolutely.
was always competitive, but it was good competitive. It's like I said, the same how you guys get busy on the court. That's how
Mhm.
we was getting busy. We was just doing it
No
with the
doubt.
mics in our hand, you know?
No doubt.
Word.
Iron sharpens iron. And I know you got to get out of here, and I appreciate you taking the time, but I have to ask you. You have a memoir out now. You're an adult. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You write books now. Staircase to Stage, the story of Raekwon and the Wu-Tang Clan. It's a look back at your
Mm.
career. You also have the acclaimed Wu-Tang television series. With all this retrospect happening right now, what has these projects reminded you of your journey? And what are people going to get when they check out these couple of projects?
Oh man. When I sit here and look at all the accomplishments and the accolades that we were able to get through our careers and still going, it's a blessing, man, because we are a product of hip hop. Hip hop taught us, it raised us. And just to see all these things transpiring still, it just makes me want to work even harder. That's why I thought it was very important to write a book, because I know that there's a young kid that's sitting in his house that's going to do the same thing that we did. So let me give him a manuscript about a real one that come from a
Mhm.
real place and was able to accomplish these things. So just to see that we got a show on TV, I sit back sometimes, I laugh, look at the characters, see how they going in, and I would
Mhm.
sit back with my moms and we would laugh. But I'd be like, "Mom, that's me," and she'd laugh and be like, "He got you a little bit, but not a lot, son." But it's a blessing, man. But at the end of the day, it's all about empowerment. You know what I mean? When you get to a certain
Mhm.
level of success, you want to make sure that you give back in the greatest way, and that's through letting people see your success, letting people know that you constantly using your mind, you constantly surrounding yourself in positive energy, you constantly being creative, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Like, you couldn't tell me that the chef would be a wine seller today. Like, I have my own
Mhm.
bottle of wine that comes straight from
Mhm.
Italy. It's called Licata.
Mhm. Mhm.
I have a
Support
cannabis
that.
business now.
I'll definitely make
Never
sure I
thought
do
I'd
it too.
see the day. I never thought I'd see the day where cannabis would be legal, and this was something
Mhm.
that inspired all of us to be who we are today. So I'm
Mhm.
watching the world shift and do things that we done where we thought that it never could happen. So I'm just so proud, and I think it was important for me to sit down and give my experiences and my trials and tribulations of not only my life, but the life with the Wu, and let people know that, we brothers, regardless of what, we brothers. Every day is not going to be a great day, but at the end of the day, we make it the best day because we built something. We built a dynasty. And it was just important for me to share this in this book with you guys.
Well, the Wu-Tang
Wow.
Clan is an iconic group. You're a
Yes.
signature artist, but you've always handled yourself with maturity, class, and like a leader. You've been narrating to us, my brother, for almost 30 years. So ain't no question to me, this is about to be a best-selling book. So y'all make sure
Thank you.
y'all go out there and purchase that. But before I let you get out of here, I have a rapid fire segment called Gone in 60 Seconds. You ready to do this, Lex Diamonds?
Woo. Let's get it,
Name
baby. Come on, talk to me.
Name a new rapper that you think will be a legend in time.
Mm, a new rapper, right? Mm.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's kind of tricky because it's about, to me, what what did you inspire?
Mm-hmm.
You could have not been one of the greatest MCs, but you could have been the greatest businessman. So I would
Mm-hmm.
say who's on their way. Interesting. That's an interesting one. You really hit the belt with this one right here.
I mean, you don't want to
Um,
start naming 83 rappers. So I'm like, you've been doing this for so
who?
long. Your catalog in your head is so crazy. You've seen it all. Who got next?
Yeah, I would definitely say a cat like J. Cole. Um,
Mm, very good one.
J. Cole, very clever on the mic. I would say,
Mm,
of course, Driz. Driz, I could
mhm.
see him. You know, his impact on what he brought to the culture. Put
Yes,
him in that legendary box. Um,
agreed.
There's a couple more
Those,
cats.
those
You
are no,
just hit
those
me
are
with
great.
that one.
Those are great choices, by the way. But I have to ask you,
Mhm.
it made me so happy when I put on that Griselda album and legendary Raekwon The Chef was on the intro. You know what I mean? Shout out to West Side
Woo!
Gun, shout out to Benny the Butcher, shout out
Yeah,
to
those are my
Conway.
bros right there.
So I have to ask you,
Yeah, I
when
love
can
those
we get
guys.
now? I know y'all got the Three Chambers tour happening, and I know it's tough to get so many people together. When are we gonna see more Raekwon Ghost with Griselda?
Listen, at the end of the day, that's right around the corner, bro. Those are my little bros. I knew them before they really actually started taking off. So I was their number one fan. And when I got an opportunity to, meet them for the first time, they treated me like I was Elijah Muhammad, a
Oh,
lot of respect for me, and I passed the torch to them. I said, "Yo, you guys are us all over again in y'all own little way." It's only
mhm,
three of y'all. It's nine of us, but it's three of y'all. But I respect y'all so much because y'all keeping that cleverness on the mic together. They talk about their struggles, and you can
mhm.
tell they come from where we come from. So definitely, man. Yeah, I gotta say that they on their way too, man. They on their way to that
Definitely,
legendary box as well. So
definitely. Yes, they are. I
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
agree.
those are my
So
boys, man. I love those guys too, man. Good brothers,
that's
man.
mutual.
Good brothers.
Family to me as well. So you back in Staten Island for one day. What's the first place you hitting up for food?
First place I'm hitting up for food.
Yes, indeed.
I'm gonna go to this. Yeah, I'm gonna go to this pizzeria. It's called Brothers. I love pizza. We New Yorkers, so we can eat that every day. It's called Brothers. It's a place that's on what is Victory Boulevard or something.
Mhm.
Um, don't quote me on that though. On the where's it at? But no, it's on South Avenue. It's called
South
Brothers
Ave.
Pizzeria. Yeah, it's on South Ave. This pizzeria is owned by real Italians. Like I done sat down and had slices in the building with gangsters and all that. But the pizza is so good, and they had literally been there, I say, for about at least 50 years already. So that
Oh,
definitely be one of the spots I hit up right away. Even when I get a chance to go in Staten Island now, I stop over there. I meet all the guys over there. Yo, what's up? Yo, they know me very well. Like, yo, you know what I want, man. Just hit me up with that good slice or two. But yeah, I definitely hit the pizzeria. It's called Brothers. You gotta check
brothers,
it
make sure
out
y'all
too. If
check
you
that. And lastly, you've had multiple signature things that you put into the lexicon. One is your name, Raekwon. It's become common, like Denzel, like Shaquille, like Nasir. I'm fortunate enough to have
like
one of those
Jalen,
names.
like Jalen,
And
I
you're
got a
half,
nephew. I got a nephew named Jalen too.
you know what
Word
I
up. I
mean?
got a nephew
So
named
what is
Jalen.
that
So
like for you almost 30 years in the game?
it's a strong accolade for me, man, because it makes me feel important, man. It just makes me feel like I did something right in my life, outside of music. People understand the person I am, and they know my heart. And for somebody to name their kid after you and say, yo, it was inspired by you, it's just a great feeling. It's something I run home and I tell my moms and I give her a big hug and say, "Yo, mom, you raised the king, you know, and look, people name their kids after me now, you know." So, like I was saying earlier, I have a nephew that's named Jalen, you know. Jalen is a
Mm,
fly name too. So,
mhm.
it's just a good feeling, man. It's a good feeling, man. And I even got an opportunity to talk to some of these guys that share that name with
Dope.
me. So it's dope, man, All I could just say is, yo, man, be great, man. Be great because it's in you. Your family didn't name you that for no reason. So you know how
No
I go.
question. Absolutely.
No
And
question.
you alluded to it. Like, it's one thing to
Mhm.
name their pride and joy after you. It's another thing that they respect you enough to. Like, you got to be
There you go.
solid. You know what I'm
There
saying?
you
And,
go.
and you've been that. In Staircase to Stage, the book is out right now. Wu-Tang Clan, Raekwon The Chef, Three Chambers Tour. Just follow him on social. He's coming to a town near you. I love and
There
appreciate you,
you go.
family. I'll be one of those people coming to represent real soon.